Hello and welcome to my workspace. I thought it might be interesting today to take a look at the workspace where I store my materials, build and paint my models on a day-to-day basis. Here's a broad view of the space. Directly in front, we can see that I just have a simple dining table that I use for most of my work. To the right side, I have an IKEA cube unit, a 4x2, and that has a lot of the materials and the tools that I use on a pretty regular basis. On the left side, we have even more IKEA units. Once again, another 4x2, and this contains tools, materials, and very importantly, paints. So the objective is basically to be able to sit here in the Dr. Evil chair and reach without rolling off the mat most of the materials that I'll need to build a model at any one time. I try to keep a clear space to the right side of my modeling desk so that I can put a few model boxes there for future projects. That fairy battle continuously sits in the corner and mocks me, but I really will build it one day. And over here, on top of the bench, we have my trusty old Sill-Air compressor, which I bought from Chris Walkup's shop back, it would be the mid-1990s at the very latest. So it's been a very reliable friend to me over all these years, and it is quite silent as well. Does a good job. Let's take a look at some of the storage and tools that I have on the main desk itself. Starting on the right hand side and the front, I have a mitre box you'll see down there, which is handy when you want to do some nice clean 90-degree or 45-degree cuts. And I also have a rack with 4 airbrushes. So 2 of them are Iwata and 2 of them are Harder and Steenbeck. They're all great airbrushes that have specific uses. So some of them have larger diameter needles for a more of a flow, and some of them have small diameter needles for detail work. But I can basically just clip the hose from the compressor onto any of these 4 airbrushes at any time. Handy when you're spraying multiple colors as well. I use casserole dishes to put the water in when I'm doing decals. And now let's have a look at some of the storage that I've got here. In this cup, I have a whole bunch of different grade sanding sticks. I have a little bottle, a little glass of water there for cleaning out brushes, etc. These are good. I use these all the time, micro brushes. You'll see it says My Lash Store. So I found that the cheapest way to actually get these is to just buy them online from cosmetic stores. My only beauty products. I'm beautiful enough as it is. I also have these, which are industrial light filaments, but they've got 1,000 handy uses, not the least of which is opening up the holes for Revell Contactor cement syringes virtually. So we can see it's a syringe type of an applicator, and it's very easy for the tip to get glued up. So these things are really handy for that, but they're also good for making pedo tubes, small wire devices and bits and pieces. We have also the ubiquitous toothpicks, so use these for a lot of different things as well. Some airbrush cleaning tools, etc. And as we get to the back of the desk, still on the right hand side, I have a couple of racks that I've just bought at a $5 shop, and they're taking a bunch of the paintbrushes that I have here, and I have another rack at the back corner with Prismacolor and similar coloured pencils. Next to this is my trusty tool rack. So I have an awful lot of tools in here, and they're cutting tools, there are all sorts of things in there. So bending tools, we've got pliers, we've got sprue cutters, and this is where they all live. Some of the more interesting, I think, things include something like the staple remover, which I found is a really good way to trowel putty onto a model, filling gaps and so forth. So that's handy there. We've got razor saws, various saws of different types, and this is my favourite ever knife. It's an Alpha blade, quite a small blade. You'll see it's by the handle that it's seen a fair bit of action over the years, but this is really my favourite tool, I think. The humble Alpha hobby knife. Next, so directly in front of me is a stand, and I use that for standing the instructions while I'm working on a model. You can see that it's quite a convenient location. So I've got the rule in there, well, partly to use as a rule, but also for tall instruction sheets, it stops it from flopping over at the back and the front. So that's quite handy. Here we have Lazy Susan. Also, you can see that it's seen a bit of action. So when I'm working on a model, I might want to rotate the Lazy Susan and make sure I'm happy with the way the progress is going before I move to the next step. There's another bottle of water, glass of water, and some containers. And I should point out, this is a very large blotting pad. So I think it might be an A2 size. It is very big, but it's got quite a few sheets. I usually go through one or two of these for each modelling project, but it's very handy to be able to soak up paint, to be able to dry off paintbrushes, and it stops the table from getting completely filthy, although fairly unsuccessfully, as you can see by the edges. Next to this, I have some paper palettes. I use these mainly to mix and thin my Vallejo acrylic paints, which are in these little tubs on the left side of the desk. Now, here we are. A sign of creeping age is the amount of time that I spend with these Optivisors on my head. I've even managed to convince my wife, Debbie, that that these are a good thing for her too, because she does quite a lot of craft work. So yeah, we can be both seen sort of wandering around the house with the Optivisors in our on our heads. So that's the Optivisor, just a cheapo one. And I have a number of cardboard boxes. They've still got enamel paints in them. I like the weight, and I use these to stick parts down, usually using blue tack and spraying. It's a much easier way to hold small parts than holding the parts themselves. So I've got, you know, half a dozen of these little boxes that I use all the time when I am painting. Also, post-it notes. I do beg your pardon. Post-it notes are really handy for all sorts of reasons. Testing out airbrushes, just making notes and so forth. So these are always here. Oh, and these little black and white and clear Perspex sheets are very handy little cutting surfaces, and particularly for masking tape. Even the edge of the table is a tool from my point of view, where I cut masking tape into lengths and I just basically stick them at various points along here until I'm ready to use them. I'll actually probably make a little video on that technique myself. So that's really what's happening on the desk itself. We have also the drawers in the IKEA unit on the left. We've got my very funky 1970s 8-track player there, which belonged to my dad and passed on to me. So that, oh, there's Dad in the picture there, and my uncles. And basically the second row of drawers are all paints. The first row of drawers have things like blue tack, sticky materials. I've got my SMS lacquer paints in there as well. And then we have the third row, which are lots and lots of tools of different sorts. We've got drills and knives and blades and cutting compound. The second drawer largely has tape, as well as some drills and some decanted paints from Tamiya spray cans right at the back of that drawer as well. Next, we have let's see, we've got sandpaper. We have some of these paint pens too, which I'm really starting to like. There's the AK ones, which work really well. Real colours are also good. But once again, at the aforementioned junk shop, $5 shop, they had these sort of generic brand Montmartre dual tip art markers for about $3.50, which seemed pretty good. So I picked up a few of those as well. What's next? We have our first drawer of Tamiya spray cans. I got a bit of a replacement run the other day, so I've still got to put those ones away. And AK Real Colours mostly paint sets in there. I quite like the AK Real Colour stuff. It goes on smoothly. And it's quite tough when it's in place. So let's have a look at the final row. Oh, these are great. These are really good. I picked these up at, I think it was the Brisbane Model Show a couple of years ago. And it's basically a bottle opener for Gunsy paints. And then there's a larger one as well, which is for Tamiya paints. So if you're like me and you find yourself with many gummed up bottle caps, then these things are a godsend. They're great. We have here the clamp drawer. One can never have too many clamps, I always say. And we've got the big ones there. We have the gigantic ones here. And we have the handy dandy little ones buried in here as well. They're not actually them, but take my word for it, there's little ones in there too. But yes, you can never have too many clamps, I think, as far as I'm concerned. And in this drawer, we have some more Tamiya spray cans, as well as some Vallejo spray cans. Now I love these Vallejo paints. They really go down well straight from the can, and they're very tough once they're in place. But some of the color interpretations, especially colors like a German dark yellow, are pretty wild. So what I would recommend is that you test the paints before you commit to actually spraying an entire model in some kind of lurid Martian green. And down here, we just have a few more bits and pieces. There's nothing particularly there. We've got some weathering products and some more AK boxes. And then actually under the desk, we have, well, there's Henry's little bed, but we also have a box with weathering products in there. So that's the story as far as my workspace is concerned. I don't know if it's a good general workflow, but all I know is that it works pretty well for me. So hope you found this a little bit interesting. If you have anything else that you'd like me to explain on the basis of what we've just seen here, then please let me know and I'll see if I can put a video together for you. But in the meantime, I'm Brett Green. Bye for now.